Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mornings with Sue. Every Monday at 9 a.m., just around 9 a.m. in the morning, I'm going live on Instagram and on Facebook. And you're always more than happy to join me because I'm always discussing some sort of topic that relates to to running a dog walking business. And also, I take any questions you have. So feel free to join me when you're watching this on YouTube right now. But and of course, if you watch it on Facebook and Instagram too, to always join me on Monday. I'm always very, very happy to have you guys with me. So today I will talk about 3 things you need to know in order to run a thriving dog walking business. And I'm really talking about a thriving dog walking business. I'm not just talking about a dog walking business, because so many people can run a dog walking business and they run it to a point to where they burn out. And that happens with a lot of people. So you can make a really good amount of money, but it's really not just about the money. It's also about your sanity, your financial wealth, not just making a whole lot of money, but actually making it very smartly. And about you just being happy and being able to take off weekends, being able to take vacations. If you talk to a lot of solo dog walkers or pet sitters, they haven't taken a vacation in years. So it's very, very important that you actually know those things before you even get started, or right when you're at the beginning of getting started, because when you know those 3 things that I will get to in a second, then you're set up for success, and you can actually run a dog walking business at some point where you don't have to do the walks, where you literally just are the owner of the business and you're thinking of better ways to run it and not be in it. So you're kind of like pulling yourself out of the business, but you own the business. Okay, so first thing, you have to know your numbers. And I noticed that a lot. Hi, Amy. And I noticed that a lot with people that are making the switch from corporate into the dog walking business or in their own business. They know their numbers. They usually know the emphasis on numbers because they come from a corporate background where their productivity, what was a big talk in and out, like day in and day out. And a lot of people that don't come from corporate, they don't really know that. They're just happy that they make money cuddling with dogs and cats. So that's usually what people coming from corporate know. Some other people know it too, and that's awesome. But if you don't know that, that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm telling you, you definitely need to know your numbers. So you should look at your numbers pretty much every week, if not at least every month. So what do I mean by that? You have to know what you're making compared to what you're paying in taxes, what you're going to pay your employees, or what your costs of running an overall dog walking business are. I see it a lot on Facebook forums where people they're just a few months into the business and they're saying they cannot cover the costs. I mean, seriously, if you don't have employees, there are not many costs to having a dog walking business. It's pretty much insurance, then some dog walking supplies that are usually supplied by the owner. So it's kind of like leashes, poop bags, but really you only need poop bags, really. That's kind of like the only supply you really need for your dog walking business to actually get started. Everything else should be supplied by the owner. Of course, it's good to have backup, but it's not a big expense. Other things than that, it's maybe a few little bit office supplies, sturdy boots, sturdy shoes that you buy under your business because you're using them for dog walking. But I never really get what people are saying when they're just starting a dog walking business, that they have to cover their costs. Of course, it costs to drive around and to pay for gas and such, but that's why you just don't walk a dog for $10 for 30 minutes. That's why you actually price yourself higher. That's why you go through the numbers to see what is very profitable for you, especially as a solo sitter when you get started, what kind of money you should charge. And then once you have employees, you have to know your numbers, of course, with the ratio of how much do you pay for your employees, how much do you pay, which also includes workers' comp, insurance, payroll liabilities, and what you pay them, what you pay in taxes, what you pay overall in your business expense, and what you give yourself, what you make as the owner. And that's where a lot of people then, when employees come into play, are getting it wrong. And then they're still working really, really hard to have their own dog walks, because they need to walk their own dogs in order to actually make enough money to sustain their business, even though they have employees. So that's where you really need to know your numbers. And they usually say it's like a 40%, 30, 40%. So 40, 30, 40% of distributing the cost. So 40% for the employees, 30% for taxes, and 40% for you, which is not always obviously happening. It really depends on what kind of stage of your business you are in. But of course, there is a certain percentage you will pay your employees versus what you are actually taking in. But you need to know that. So I'm diving deeper into that topic in another video. I'm going to refer to a lot of videos that I already made in this video. So for all YouTubers, in the description box, there are all the other YouTube videos that I'm referring to, or they're going to pop up right here. So just so you know, but you will have all the YouTube videos below if you want to refer to those. So you have to know your numbers, get a grip on that early on. So see what your average like per minute revenue is, right? So if you have 15-minute visits, if you have 20-minute visits, 30-minute visits, an hour-minute, 60-minute visits, then you really should know, you should have some kind of, like some people know what they make just about per hour. Some people know what they make per minute. Usually the shorter minutes visits are, so like 15-minute visits, 20-minute visits are way more profitable than the hour-minute visits. So the 60-minute visits. So just be aware of that to adjust. And you really don't have to you really don't have to offer all the services under the sun. You can really run your numbers and see what's most profitable for you and what you really enjoy, and then just drop all the other services. So it's really just up to you. You just have to know your numbers in order to also price your services right. And then once you actually hire an employee, what to pay them. Yes. So knowing your numbers is just seriously the ABC of running any business if you don't want to experience a burnout. So that's the first thing you really, really need to know in order to run a thriving dog walking business. The second one is to have really set in stone policies and procedures. So you really want to have really good, strong policies in place. I would seriously, if I do have, like a whole kind of, like my service agreement that I'm giving to you. You can literally just copy from that and then just make up your own numbers, whatever you think is fair. So I was talking in some other videos about holiday fees, what your fees are for cancellations. And there's certain other fees, like if you use, if you offer daily dog walking, how far in advance can they actually cancel the service, and what do they have to pay as a cancellation fee, or do they have to pay the entire fee? You should be aware of what you're comfortable with, and then you have to put that into your service agreement, like I already mentioned, and then also mention it in the meet and greet, like some really important ones that are often kind of not abused, but that are kind of like, let's say a lot of clients are requesting last minute requests. That's something good to bring up during the meet and greet, to actually say like, hey, just so you know, that's my last minute request policy. I have all the policies already in my service agreement that you have signed. So please be aware of that. If you're not comfortable mentioning that in your meet and greet, then if the client goes against your service agreement at some point, just let them know, hey, this is one of the policies that's in my service agreement. I'm basically letting you do it now without a fee. Like, let's say if they cancel and you usually charge a cancellation fee, just let them know, I'm not charging a cancellation fee now, but from now on, I will charge a cancellation fee if this and this happens. So this is really, really important. Then, of course, procedures. That's later on when you have employees to really put in place, but it's really good for you to have already because, like, let's say you go through a visit and do certain things. So you come in, leash up the dog, then you bring back the dog, you change the water, you always fill it up to the brim. You make sure that the sink area is very clean. So if you spilled water, that you actually dried it off. Certain things like that. I would suggest if you are the solo dog walker and you don't have any employees yet, be very specific on what you actually expect of yourself, because you can really only expect it of your employees if you are actually doing it, if you truly believe in it. Because if you truly believe in it, you have no kind of problems enforcing it and really expecting it from your employees, and your employees will feel it. And your employees will feel it if you expect something of them and you're actually not doing it. It's not going to fly, trust me. You need that trust, you need that from your employees, but you also need that your employees are actually believing in what you're preaching. So you have certain procedures. If you have cat sitting, how you pill a cat, how you do a cat sit, how long you really stay for a cat sit, and so on. Those are all kind of, like procedures that you should put in place. You can put it in your employee handbook. It's available below as well. And then really teach your employees on how to do certain things. So that's policies and procedures. I'm diving right into the third point, which is employees. So employees are super, super, super important in order to have a thriving dog walking business. I know a lot out there, I know they're not saying it, but they're scared to have employees. It's really not a big thing. You just have to do it. I know it's, for a lot of people, it's really a pain to actually hire employees, to go through the hiring process and training. Then they might not work out. Then they might quit. But you know what? It's just the way it is. It's the cost of doing business. And once you actually hire more employees, you get used to how to read potential employees, if they're really going to stay longer, if they're really trustworthy. The more experience you have, the more experience you have hiring employees, and you will hire the better employees. You will know what to look for. Hello, Carrie Ann. Hi, lady. So employees are just super vital for your business. And I know a lot of people are scared, just like I already said. But in order to have a thriving dog walking business and not just have dog walking as a job, because when you're actually a solo sitter, that's all there is. That's kind of like just your job. But once you hire an employee, that's a whole nother thing of actually having a business. And you can start making plans on having your vacation without losing money. You can start on just having time off on the weekends because you have employees to cover that. Or even if you only, like, let's say, offer Monday through Friday dog walking, then you're off anyway. But that way you actually make more money because you can hire more employees, you can take on more clients. So employees are just super vital. Don't let anybody else tell you. I know there are so many, I see it on Facebook groups, there are so many people that are saying, well, I have been solo dog walking and cat sitting for 10, 15 years, and I'm completely happy. I had employees in the past and it didn't work out. You know what? It's a steep learning curve. If you never hired employees before, if you never were in a managerial position or corporate position, wherever, then it is a very steep learning curve because you're responsible for an employee. You are responsible for hiring. You have to make the right decision. You have to know all the labor laws and so on. But once you actually get that down and you know the labor laws, you know how to hire employees. And I can help with that as well. I have super extensive experience with that. It's really not that hard, trust me. Then you will be just very happy running your own dog walking business because you're not in it anymore, which is the goal of having a dog walking business. And then eventually, maybe in years to come, you can actually sell that business because you have employees, because nobody's gonna really wanting to buy a business that doesn't have any employees, because then it's more like a client list than anything else. So anyway, so that's on employees. And I have a very tough stance on employees versus independent contractors. I know some of the dog walking business are still using independent contractors. The government is actually cracking down more on certain businesses using independent contractors if they're really not used as independent contractors. And that's the thing with a dog walking business, right? When you actually start your own dog walking business, you're very, very proud on how you run your dog walking business. You do it a certain way. Your clients completely trust you. You do it in a very loving way. You're very proud of it. And then you want to take on staff that you can actually train, that you can mold to be basically a little mini-me of you. So they're doing just an amazing job as you did, and your clients will see that as well. With independent contractors, you're literally just subcontracting your services out to another company. That's all there is, even if it's just a person. But that's what an independent contractor is. It is basically just another company that works, that you basically hire, but you cannot tell them how to do their job. So that's really the main difference of independent contractors. So if you tell even your independent contractor one thing, like how to fill up a water bowl or how to walk a dog, how to hold the leash, that's not an independent contractor anymore. Independent contractors can do whatever they want as they see fit how to do the job. Employees, on the other side, you can actually train how to do certain things. You can tell them, listen, this is the employee handbook, this is the procedures, those are the policies, and you have to adhere to that. You have to sign that. Independent contractors, you cannot have them sign something. So this is kind of like the difference, quick difference of independent contractors and employees. I do think that's something very, very important to consider. And to have employees doesn't actually cost much more than independent contractors if you do it right. And you obviously also alter your rates, your service rates, so you can have employees. So anyway, but that's on a whole nother video when I dive deeper into that, independent contractors versus employees. So can you send me a PM today? Okay, sure, Carrie Ann, I'll send you a PM. Or you can just let me know. You can send me a PM with your question or whatever, but I'm going to send you a PM. It's all good. Awesome. Okay, Carrie Ann, I wish you a wonderful day. And you guys, I wish you a great day too. It was great having Mornings with Sue again. I hope those 3 things of really running a thriving business, because it's not just running a business, it's actually running. That's okay, Carrie. No worries at all. It was great that you joined me though. So those are the 3 things of running a thriving business. I'm always saying that's why my company is called Dog Walk to Wealth, right? Wealth is not just money, it's also your freedom, which you can make so much money with having a dog walking business or just being a dog walker. But then it's actually really imperative to make that jump to where you can have that freedom as well, where a lot of people are kind of struggling with, but it's actually way easier than you think. So it was knowing your numbers early on, and I can completely tell you what those numbers are, and I can completely coach you on what to look out for. You just got to let me know that you need the help. Policies and procedures, it's very, very, very important that you get that from early on, because even if you get it later on, that's completely fine too. You can always have your clients sign a new service agreement and stuff, but once you actually train your clients a certain way, it's hard to untrain them and hard to let them know, hey, these are my new policies. So try to get it wrong, try to get it right from the beginning. That's definitely always better. And employees, having a staff that makes a real company. So those are the three things that are super, super important to having a thriving dog walking business without a burnout. All right, guys. I hope you have a wonderful week. I also have, if you look below, a guide to 10 non-sucky ways to get new clients. So you can download that as well down below in the YouTube video, because that's usually where everybody watches this video. All right, guys. I wish you very, 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 very much a whole lot of success, and a lot of success without a burnout, which is like many weekends that are free, many vacations for you, because that's really why you started that business. So you have your own freedom, so you're your own boss, right? All right. Take care, guys. Have a great weekend. Bye.